Hello, this is Tim Perfect from Two Canoe Software, and I've been busy building an Altair 8800. It's not an original Altair, but it is a kit provided by Add Water and Stir, and I had a lot of fun building it up, and I want to kind of share some of the things that I found out and kind of some of this excitement that I've had around this. I've been working on it for the last couple of weeks. You basically have to solder in all the LEDs, all the switches in, some resistors, capacitors. I bought the Pro version, so it has a little I/O board that allows me to plug USB in, an SD card, and those kind of things. It's all powered since it is an emulator. It's not an actual vintage Altair. It runs a Arduino inside that emulates the Altair 8800 CPM. It can actually emulate the 8080 processor or the Z80 processor. So very excited about getting it and be able to play around with it. It was a bit before my time. I started programming on a VIC-20 and then eventually moved up to the Commodore 64 and from there onwards. And my friend, a good friend of mine, had a TRS-80, and we would have these hack sessions. But I remember seeing ads for the Altair. I believe it was in Computer Shop or other magazines. I was very excited about it because it was, got me excited about computers before I ever even owned one. So I got my hands on this kit, and I wanted to kind of poke around and kind of see, what interface you had through the switches on the front, as well as what were all these LEDs and those kind of things. So one of the things that I realized is that basically all of the when you load programs and be able to start and stop operation is through these switches in the front. There's a row of basically 0 through 15 that allows you to specify basically binary codes for digits. So if you wanted to run program 3, or you want to specify a specific digit or a specific file name on the disk, you would program it here and then do an action button for that. The first row of LEDs from the bottom is the address. What's the current address that has that is currently addressing, and then what's currently D0 through D7 is what's currently on the data bus. One of the kind of first things you do to try is like chase the bit, which is basically do a reset, and then I believe you press up switch 1, and then you press aux1, and then you can see it flicks through A15 to A8. And it goes through and just basically runs it. And I was trying to control the LEDs through a program because I thought, oh, this is kind of like controlling LEDs. It's not. It's actually showing you it's accessing memory. And so this is a creative program that allows you it just basically changes specific memory locations. So it looks like it's chasing an LED when it's actually just accessing those specific memory locations. So really the LEDs aren't for programming and doing indicators, but rather just allow you to do debugging. So the output is through a serial terminal. And so what I do is I have it hooked up through this USB cable plugged in the back, micro USB that actually goes into the Arduino that does the emulation and allows me to see the output. So you can see that's here, and I'm running kill the bit. So let me go ahead and I'll turn that down. I'll press reset and stop at the same time. Didn't do it. There you go. It stops. Now if I press the aux1 down, it'll show me these programs that are available. So now I have the ability to see all these different programs that are available, but plus there's some other ones that are part of disk images. So let's go ahead and go into basic, because who doesn't want basic? You can see that basic is 101. So I'll go in here and I'll go 101, and I'll do aux1, and then it can say it's running 4K basic. So now I can, for memory size, I'll just press return. It'll do the memory size. Terminal width, of course, is 80 because 80 is the best. Do I want sign? No, I don't need any of these extra settings. And now I can do print hello. And I'm now writing a basic program. So of course the classic one is print. Oops, there's not a lot of good backspace characters. So 10 print 10 print hello, and then 20 go to 10, and then I'll list it, and then I'll run it, and there we go. We got the hello going on. So let me go ahead and reset this. And, I'm going to press my switch down, reset it. and then we'll go back. Oh, didn't hit all my switches down. There we go. So we're back to the main memory. So that's the version of BASIC, which is kind of how I got my introduction into programming. So there's some other ones that came programs that came with it. That's pretty exciting. One I wanted to show you is let me see, what should we start with? Let's go to disk 8. So in order to load a disk or disk image that's on the SD card, you press the switch 12, which means that you're going to load a disk image. And I'm doing disk image, let's see, 1000, so 0001. So here, and then you press aux2 down, and you can see it mounted disk image disk08.disk Zork. Now I want to actually run it, and we turn these switches off, and to run something, you press, it's the switch number 3, and then you press down to run it. And then here I am into CPM, and if I do a directory listing, you can see it has Zork. I actually have the options of Zork 1, 2, or 3. So I'll run Zork, and you can see the LEDs start flashing like crazy because it's loading this program. There I am. I'm west of house. You're standing in open field west of a White House with a boarded front door with a small mailbox here. So, of course, the first thing to do is open mailbox. A small leaflet. So I'm going to read the leaflet. Zork is a game of adventure, danger, and low cunning. It is. In it, you will explore some of the most amazing territory ever seen by mortals. No computer should be out without one. So I have to admit I spent a big part of my later middle school and early high school playing Zork. So it's kind of exciting to have Zork 1, 2, and 3 running on pretty much kind of the setup that I would have. I'm actually in my basement, which is what I would have been doing when I was in junior high as well. So that's Zork, and so let me go ahead and reset that. So I'll put the switches down. I'll press stop and reset. And then I'll hit aux, and I'll go back to that main menu. So now let's look at a couple other ones. Let's look at SuperCalc, because who wouldn't want to? So that's 110 disk image. So 110 and F12. So I want to load a disk image, and it's 110, and I'll press aux2, and you can see it's loading SuperCalc. I'm mounting that disk. Again, I'll turn off all the switches. Hit F3, and I'll run it. So now it's running the boot ROM, and I do A. And so now I think I can do SuperCalc 2. And it should load up SuperCalc. There it goes. So now I'm running SuperCalc, and I had to look up to see actually how to do formulas and that kind of stuff, and how to navigate, because it turns out it's not all that easy, at least not with my keyboard. So I'm using Control D moves forward, and I'll put, maybe we'll add 100, and I'll hit return, and I'll go down and back, and we'll do 201, and we'll go down and over, and I want to sum these two, so I'll just do B1 plus B2, and I'll hit return, and look at that. It's summed up 100 plus 201. What I'm noticing is that my calculation is a little bit off. I didn't mean to put 100 in here. I meant to put in 1,000, and you can see it automatically updated that last column. So you can just imagine how it can help your business by using SuperCalc. So that's pretty exciting to be able to see. I did have to tweak the terminal settings quite a bit, and this is kind of interesting. In terminal settings, I'm using a Mac OS app called Serial, which I just love. We use it for a lot of Arduino stuff. And of course, I had the baud rate and the data bits and parity and stop bits. That's kind of standard, but the thing that I didn't realize is that I was doing it line buffered, and which means you type a bunch of characters, hit return, and it sends it. That allows you to edit and those kind of things. But the problem with that is that it was overflowing the buffer. It was going too fast. So it's basically giving me garbage. So what I ended up doing is I could go into here and I could say the character delay. I put a character delay in. But then I realized that if I just did interactive, where it actually types the keys, it doesn't have that problem. So it was kind of funny. And you actually see that here. Let me go back out again. Reset all the switches. Press stop and reset. And then press aux and back to the main menu. And so let me go back in I don't know. Let's see. Let's go to another adventure game. So this one also has Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is disc 10, which is 1 with 4 zeros. So I want to mount a disk image. 1 with 4 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 here. So 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then I'll mount the disk image. And there it is, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Put the switches down, hit the third one up to run it, hit run, and there it is. And so if you go into, when I was showing the terminal settings, so I go back to the settings, and I do, and I switch it back to line buffered, and I do something like dir, you can see it says DI question mark because it didn't get that last character because it was going too fast. So what I found is that if you have to go and make it interactive and not echo the characters because it echoes it back, it now works fine. And that was kind of interesting find. So you can see there's a program called Hitch.com. So let me run Hitch. This gives us entrance into Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is a fun game. It was very different than Zork because it kicks you out if you don't proceed quick enough. Plus, it happens, you have to have a knowledge of the novels, which is interesting. So I wake up, the room is spinning very gently, or at least it would be if you could see it, which you can't. It is pitch black. So first thing I'll do is turn on light. You can see the LEDs going crazy over here. The room is a mess, small base, wasp basin. I got a bad headache because I guess I'm hungover. There's a flat head screwdriver and a toothbrush. So the first thing I want to do is get up. I want to look out window. Oh, there's sun is shining, the birds are singing, and there's a large yellow bulldozer is advancing on your home. So I'll put run away because that's always a good way to do it. I missed the doorway by a good 18 inches. So not doing very well here. So I think at this point, I'll leave Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I got to say, I was kind of sucked into both Zork and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy when I first got this set up. And just having it figure out how it's parsing the language is kind of like half the fun. There's a couple other games here, which is I didn't actually play before. So let me put these switches down. I'll do reset and stop. There we go. And then, do it again. We got to get it, reset and stop. There we go, main menu. And so now there's Planetfall and Colossal Cave Adventure, which I did not play before, so I'm going to show those. So it's disc 11, so it's 1, 3 zeros, and 1. So it's 1, 3 zeros, and a 1. And I want to mount a disk image. So I'll do aux. It says mounted Planetfall. Again, turn off all the switches. And then I'll do 3, and I'll run it. So now I'm running this Planetfall. If I do a dir, I'll see it's called Planet. Planet. And it loads it up and goes into a Planetfall. Deck 9. This is a fearless corridor similar to every other corridor on the ship. Occurs away from starboard and the gangway leads up. So this is what we called fun back when I was younger. So I guess I'm on deck 9. So let's move on and look at Colossal Cave Adventure. So this one's a space adventure, which is kind of cool. So again, I turn off all the switches. I do the reset. Make sure I get to the main menu. Then I look on the disc. I have Colossal Cave Adventure is 100, 10. So 10 and then 100. 10010. And then I do aux2, and that should be example 18. Nope. Sorry, I forgot to do 12. Let me do that again. There we go. Disc 12, Colossal Cave Adventure. So again, turn off all the switches, turn on 3, and then run it. And there we go. It runs it, and it's printing a bunch of BASIC, which it does that occasionally. I'm not sure why. But let me turn off all these switches. I think it's because I didn't load it in quite correctly the first time. There we go. Turn off all the switches. 12 to mount this image. 10010. Mount the image. There we go. Colossal Cave Adventure. Turn off all the switches. F3 on. Hit this. And now we'll try dir. Adventure. So I'll do event. Advent. Gotta spell it right. There we go. And now this is going to load up Colossal Cave Adventure. Go and read a book while I get my act together. I'm not going to read a book. I'm going to watch the LEDs because those are quite fancy. No, it doesn't like burst, which is interesting. Some of the other things that it comes with Altair DOS 1.0. There's a bunch of games. They're basic games. You basically look at it and it loads in all the. You don't have to type it in from magazines. It actually types it in for you, and then you can play a bunch of the basic games. Zork, which we're already talking about. There's a time sharing basic, which is interesting because then not only can you hack on this in basic, but you can go one through the console and one through the serial port, right? So you can have time sharing, meaning two people can do it, which was, I guess, a rage back in the day. Do I want instructions? Yes. This is actually the first time I've run this. Somewhere nearby in a classical cave where others have found fortunes in treasure and gold, though it is rumored that some who entered are never seen again. Magic is said to work in the cave. So this is very much like Dungeons and Dragons. There's a bottle of water, so let me go ahead and drink the water because that's what I want to do right away. So I did it. The bottle is now empty. And there's food. Let me eat my food. Oh, yeah, eat food. Ooh. Eat food. There we go. It was delicious. All right, so I'm only just entering the cave. I'll let you know how it goes later on. There's also Fortran and a modern version of CPM, which is CPM 2.2 beta. There's that's kind of the programs that are included with it, and it's been a fun adventure putting it all together. And on the back of this thing, so let me unplug it. On the back of this thing, you can see that it has, if you look closer, it has a place for the SD card slot, VGA, another USB, micro USB, and a power cable, and the SD card that goes in it as well. So that is my Altair 8800. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure to click subscribe so you can get notified when I do more of these videos. And also give me a like because that means people like it and I like to do it. It makes me happy. So thanks very much for watching and I'll see you later.